Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Sunroom. I'm your host with the most, Yesril Zimone, and today we have a very special guest with us. Some of you might recognize her from our photography, digital, and arts department, Donuyé Broussard. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right, so starting out, please tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a photographer. I'm also an illustrator, as you guys know. I do for fun, for work. I also do martial arts. I'm interested in that. Skateboarding, fashion, music, animation. So those are the things that I'm, interested in. From kind of a little bit of all over the place. From New Mexico, South Carolina. I was born in Nebraska, so we've kind of been bouncing around. Been to California, so we've been around a couple of different places. Just going up everywhere.
So, what art forms do you do? Because I know we had a brief discussion, and it's not just illustrative work and photography. You did mention dancing, so can you expand more on the arts that you do exactly?
Yeah, so like you said, I am into dancing. I've been doing like hip hop dancing for a little while. That's one of the first things. Art is the first thing that I've gotten into, and the dance was, I think, the next thing that I really got into.
Right.
I've always wanted to do martial arts, and specifically, it's been a while. I tried Taekwondo for like 3 days, and then couldn't go back, but I still wanted to do some form of martial arts. I really want to get into a lot, but I think right now I'm focusing on Muay Thai.
Right.
And so so that's been fun. Muay Thai and boxing, so it's also another thing that I've been getting into.
Okay.
Cinematography as well, something that I'm interested in. I think that's what introduced me to photography, because they're both kind of in the same room, but obviously they have different purposes. And I really just wanted to make films and make movies.
Right.
But started getting into photography as well, because that helps you to learn how to capture things in a different way that aids cinematography better than I really thought. So.
Right.
That led me to that, so it's also something I'm interested in fashion as well, like clothes and putting things together and cutting things up. And
I feel that.
So those are, I guess, like the different art forms that I mostly focus on.
So, since you expanded on that, can you tell us a little bit about when you first discovered, and this is specifically for your illustrative work, like when you first discovered that you could draw and that you enjoyed drawing and that you had a talent for it?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how old I was. I want to say I was really young when I realized that I was actually good at it.
Right.
I might have been maybe 7 or 8, possibly. Something like that. I was pretty small. And there was a show, I can't remember what the name of it was, but they would always have this segment where they would have like drawing tutorials for kids. So just, drawing very simple things like drums or whatever. And I would always tune in and watch that and like draw along with it. And the artworks were, they were good. And I realized, it looks exactly like, what I saw on screen. So that must mean I, know what I'm doing. I grew more invested in trying to make sure that I hone those skills and master that talent. And, it was still drawing for fun, but I realized, okay, it's more than that.
Right.
So,
like it was something that you could do.
Yeah. Do well. So.
Yeah. What art styles do you all do exactly? Because I saw during our brief discussion, surrealism was mentioned. So you do surrealism, but what else do you do?
I also do like manga kind of comic style.
Right.
So I actually started practicing manga kind of early-ish. I think it was 14, 15 when I started getting into that. To get into drawing characters and learning how to do that through manga art style. And I was also looking a lot at the, just Western comic art style and kind of blending those two things. That's also something that I do. And I do a little bit of like realistic or realism, but semi. It's not like the most polished, but like I like to add details to my drawings too. So there's that kind of semi realistic. So it's kind of like those other 3 things that I bounce in between.
Okay. Okay, and so what, out of the art styles you do, which one would you consider to be your favorite?
I think for character works, I have to say like the manga comic art style is my favorite.
Yeah.
And then if I'm just drawing just to draw, and I don't have, it's not really like a character-based drawing, then usually I like to kind of dip into surrealism. Just it's interesting when you can kind of just throw together whatever and it doesn't make sense, but it looks interesting. So yeah, I think those are like my top two. But I've been focusing a lot on character work, so it's a lot of comic style that I've been doing the most. Yeah,
I've had my fair share of dabbling into surrealism, so I understand. It is very. What artists have influenced and inspired you throughout your art journey?
Specifically, if we're talking about other illustrators, I started the first person that I really started watching like that. I used to watch Bob Ross, but who didn't? His name is Mark Curley. He's a manga artist too, so he was the one I was watching when I started getting into manga art. So I watched a lot of his videos, and it helped me to like understand proportions, like faces and anatomy early on. So I watched a lot of his videos. So he did inspire a lot of like what I do now. Now I'm not sure. I don't want to butcher his name, but he's on social media, so I'm just gonna like give his handle KSE332. His style is very interesting. It's almost like a comic, but there's also realism in there too. So yeah, he manages to mix them in a very interesting way. Like it looks like very comic style art, but it's also really realistic too. So it's very interesting. He also does animation too, so I watch him for that as well. So he just has a very, very unique art style, and I really like how he uses his lines and his colors.
Yeah.
And he knows how to capture motion very well too in his animation. So I look at a lot of his stuff for inspiration. And another artist called Coterie Inc. I don't want to butcher his real name too, so I'm just gonna do the handles. He also has very good style. I like the way he handles anatomy very well. He has, I think, his own like comic that he does. So
wow.
Yeah, so I just like checking in and see what he's doing. But yeah, those are like the top three that I really look to for inspiration.
Okay. Still sticking to inspiration, what things in everyday life inspire you to draw? Like just anything, whether it's, an event, just something like you go out and you do something and it inspires you. What in everyday life does that for you?
I think literally anything can be inspirational to me because it's always, I take reference from everything that I see.
Right.
And so anything, light bulb could be like inspiration, like depending on like how it's sitting or the angle or the lighting in the room or whatever the case is.
That's complex.
So, yeah.
It's very complex thinking.
Like, everything is art in a way. It's interesting. But I think like if I were to go out of my way and just like look for inspiration, usually like outdoors, I like cityscapes, city, like that environment is very inspirational to me, I think. Also, just being out around a bunch of trees just in the forest somewhere. It's also like inspirational to me. I think martial arts is also, because action and martial arts and all that whole thing is like something that I really want to get into. Like stunt work and everything, fight choreography, all that stuff is like it intrigues me quite a bit. So it's something that I really want to get into when I think of that, there are scenes that I want to draw or like I want to animate, so I think that's kind of also what inspires me, and those things help me to like create characters or environments around those characters, and it's not just like the movement or just the action, but thinking of like the whole story around it. So things like that inspire me. I think movies inspire me, video games inspire me. So again, it's just a lot. I'll look, depending on what it is that I want to draw, I'll look at maybe the environment, or maybe I'll go to a movie and watch that, or maybe I'll open up a book or something, or even just scroll online and see what I see, or look around the house. So it really depends on what it is that I'm trying to capture, but yeah, like anything can give me a good idea.
So that's amazing that you can find art for anything. You just have to know where to look and how to see it.
Yeah.
So that's honestly, it's very inspirational. And kind of makes you wonder, what happens in the mind of an artist 24/7.
Yeah.
And like, what details do just regular people miss that artists pick up on every day? What do you wish to achieve with your art? What is your end goal?
I think the main thing that I want to do, and it took me a while because I've always been an artist. I've always liked drawing. Well, I don't want to say it took me a while because I think it's something that I've always been interested in, but I didn't realize that I could do it until maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. I really want to tell stories with my art, so I really want to get into like 2D animation, traditional animation, or even just like comics, and just create stories that will last, that people will remember for like a long time.
Yeah.
Something that will actually like teach someone something, like, you know, touch someone in a way, something that's like very personal to you know, the audience.
Yeah.
And so I really like stories that are very character driven, because it's easy to connect to a story that way when you can, you know, connect to the character,
Right.
and you can see yourself in them, or you can see yourself in the situation, and it feels like, you know, like it's something that you can be a part of.
Right.
And so that's really what I want to do. At the end of the day, I want to make something that people can be a part of and they can talk about for like years after. And, you know, it can inspire them, and their perspective on it can change, because, you know, now 2 years later they go back and look at the story and it means something different, and it's still, you know, very close to them. And it's something that I really want, because, you know, I've had shows or stories that have done that for me, and it's like it's pretty cool to have something like that. So I want to do
It's
something
like
like that.
almost emotionally interactive.
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love things like that.
Yeah.
I love stories, movies, art pieces, anything that makes me feel like I am somehow involved in the mix.
Right, yeah.
I think, and a lot of people feel that way when it's emotionally engaging and interactive,
Yeah.
is when, you know, you have the most influence and the most drive.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on creative expression and the youth, and what do you want to tell young artists out there?
I think, you know, you see it like more and more now because of social media, that I think, you know, self-expression, creative expression, is, we see it a lot more now, and it's like, I guess, normalized in a way where it's like, okay, it's welcome. You know, at one point it probably wasn't the most popular thing, I'm sure, or at least in a way where, especially for very different or very unique forms of ways of expressing yourself, I think it's something that you see more and it's welcomed, and that's a cool change, because people can like be themselves,
Yeah.
you know, not feel ashamed, and even if other people don't like it, you know, it's whatever, you're doing your own thing. And so I would say that when it comes to that, you know, just, you don't have to worry about trying to impress anybody else. Just do, you know, what makes sense to you, and you know, just be you. I think it's important to, especially now these days, to understand who you are and your own uniqueness, and, you know, don't copy anyone else, because it's not about trying to be trendy, or, you know, trying to be favored. When it comes to creativity, it's just about how your mind captures things, and then how you put that back out, you know, into the world. And so someone out there is going to see things from your perspective in a way, and they're going to be able to relate to what it is that, you know, to how you view things, how you see things, how you do things, and you'll have your own group of people that, you know, you can come together with, and you guys can just be your weird selves. And so that's kind of, I would say, just focus on that. Just, you know, don't get lost in everything else that's going on in terms of what other people might think creativity should be.
Right.
Just know and understand what your form of creativity is. It's not something that you can teach. It's not something you can explain. It's just, it is what it is. And so cultivate that and understand what it is. And, you know, lock yourself away in the room if you need to with 80 devices, so that you can have the time to do that. Because, I mean, when I was younger, we were drawing, and yeah, we had like access to the internet, everything, but I wasn't on it like that. And to the point where I'm seeing, like now, seeing a bunch of different styles and a bunch of different artworks. And even now, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I wish, you know, I drew like that. But then I have to remember, you know, my style is unique, and I'm not. It's okay to take inspiration, but trying to be somebody else that's not going to help you out. Comparing yourself to other people is not going to help you. So just know the difference between, you know, when you find inspiration and when you're kind of obsessing over something that isn't you.
Right.
And separate yourself from the latter and do whatever you have to do. Coming up, yeah, I didn't have that pressure, so I was able to just draw freely. And I was very thankful for that time, because I was able to get to where I'm at now because of it. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
These days, a lot of people get, you know, self-expression and parroting self-expression confused.
Right, yeah.
Because you can have inspiration and then you can have a carbon copy.
Right.
And, you know, two things might be similar, but they're never going to be the same. I hope all the young people out there, you know, feel more comfortable being able to express themselves, and it can be scary sometimes, stepping out of your comfort zone and receiving
like criticism.
Criticism, and then sometimes even backlash.
Right.
Because it seems like now these days the line between those two it's being blurred.
It is, yeah. Social media is a dangerous place.
It is.
For that reason. Like, it's cool because you can see different people doing different things.
Right.
But at the same time, people are really negative online and very trendy as well. So,
if you do digital art,
yeah,
and you do traditional sketches, so are those the only two tools you use to express your art?
Pretty much, yeah. I know. I've tried painting once. Wasn't very good at that. No, I tried it twice. Wasn't the best at that. I'm sure if I continued, I'd get better, but it's not something that really interests me that much, that deeply. So I just focus mostly on traditional and, you know, digital art, which is just drawing with a digital pencil and a digital tablet. So it's not AI art. I'm sure most of us know that, but just in case anyone else is a little bit confused, there's a difference. It's still drawing like traditionally, but with digital tools instead.
Right.
So yeah, so I do that, and I tried to get into carving for like 5 seconds, and I think it's something that I would be more interested in, but I haven't really like done a whole lot with that. Right. So yeah, those are the only two mediums that I really do now. So
have you done any art for, you know, as a service?
I have. I've done like a couple of different things here and there, and I took it seriously, but I didn't think that it was that big. But I've done I made some logos. Did that a couple times for a couple different people. There was one client that asked me to make, I think it was like a profile photo for a group for mothers. And so yeah, I did that of her and her two sons, and she was like wearing a super mom outfit. I can't remember what the kids were wearing, but it was pretty cool. That one I did traditionally, and then I transferred it over to like digital art back when I had to use my laptop and my mouse, so I didn't have like the pen or the tablet yet.
Wow.
And so yeah, and so I had to like do like, so you know, I'm not sure if you guys know, but like the Microsoft Art app.
Yes.
Anyone laptop, yeah.
Anyone over the age of 22, even the age of 22, even under the age of 22 should know the Microsoft Art. Like, come on now.
Yeah. And so I would use that with the mouse, and I would use like the line tool because the pencil tool was just, it was too shaky with the mouse. And so I would use the line, just like very short lines so that I could get the curves right. And it took forever.
Gosh.
And then, you know, use the bucket tool to fill. So it was an interesting process. It was a very long process, but it looked really good. So I did that, and I've done some illustrations for BD books. What else? There was a project that I did online. I ended up taking it back down, but I did a webcomic for something, I think. No, I think that was a personal project, actually. It wasn't a client work, but I have done a couple other commissions for randoms online that, you know, just wanted some artwork done. So yeah, I've done like a couple different things.
Do you wish to continue offering those services and offering more than that, or?
Probably eventually. I think I'm focusing a lot on, or I would like to focus a lot on my personal projects. So I want to do a lot more of that. And when it comes to, I guess, doing work for other people, depends on the project, on what the project is. So if it's like someone wants a series, maybe of graphics for t-shirts,
right,
then I wouldn't mind doing that. That would be fun. If someone else has a project that they want to do, a story that they want to tell, and you know, they see my artwork and they, you know, want me to help, and if I like the story, then yeah, that's something that I would do. So it definitely depends on the project and what the project is, what it means. I guess how long it would take, and you know, I really want to get to know the meaning of what it is that we're working on. But yeah, I'm definitely up for that.
Okay. You guys hear that? So if anybody needs any art projects done,
Yeah.
then this is your person right here to go to.
Yes. It has to be Donuyé approved, but
And lastly, where can we find your work?
so outside of the book that I did, a lot of it I've done a couple of things, but the one that's out right now, or should be, or it will be soon. Yeah, Words Are Wonderful, Poems of Life, by Johanna Robinson. So hopefully that'll come out soon. You guys can see some of my works there that I did a couple of years ago. And then for a lot of my other stuff, personal projects and everything else, I have an Instagram called Ang Anye. It's Dang Donuyé, but remove the D's from both. Ang Anye, we'll put that somewhere. You guys can follow that, and I'll post, all my art stuff, probably like fashion and whatever martial arts stuff. So that's kind of for all that stuff on that page. And then I think that's all that I have for my social media. I have to make some others on like other platforms. And I'll do that eventually, and then make that announcement. So yeah, just go follow that IG profile, and I'll get some stuff up.
We'll link your profile in the description so people can follow you directly. Thank you for coming in today. Thank you for answering all these questions and giving us, a little bit of some insight into your mind and how that works, and showing us some of your pieces of art.
Yeah, no problem. I hope it was interesting.
It's very interesting.
I hope I made sense of it, yeah.
Oh, you did. I like the way you think, and I'm sure a lot of people out here like the way you think, and I'm sure you're going to inspire a lot of young artists, and even people that are older that want to start getting into art. I mean, art really has no age.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't.
So thank you for coming here today. We really appreciate it, and I hope to see you soon. I hope to see you guys soon. Stay tuned. We're going to have more interviews here for you on the Sunroom. Tune in next time. You guys stay safe, drink water, and we'll see you back here on the Sunroom.